My guest today is a multi-talented and civic-minded performer. You probably heard her breakout buzz track titled, Ooh, Love Ya, followed up with Road Trippin'. Well, she is keeping busy these days with some new music and helping others. Say hello to Brave Williams. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's Hollywood Live, and I'm Tanya Hart, and we're glad you're joining us because we got somebody special again here today. Brave Williams is certainly an artist that you remember probably from one of her or two of her last hits, as well as for being really very civic-minded. And she's got something new coming up. Brave, hi, how are you? Welcome to Hollywood Live.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, how are you doing? You're in Baltimore. You're from Baltimore.
Yeah.
And you've been down there really keeping busy during COVID. In fact, you were just saying that you wrapped a movie last night in DC. And I'm just so curious, what was that like with all of the protocols in place?
Yeah, it was definitely a different experience. I'm blessed that even through the pandemic, I'm still able to consistently work. I mean, just even being able to book a movie, a principal role was a blessing in itself. But yes, entering onto set every day, getting COVID tests every 2 days, having to be sectioned off from, talent versus cast crew versus, not anyone can just grab your water. You have to have like a particular person in your zone to touch your stuff. It was very different, but we got through it. And like you said, we wrapped last night, and I can't wait for everyone to see the film.
What is the film, by the way?
So I can't exactly say particularly what day, which is why everyone should follow me. So when I have the exact date, which will be around the holiday season,
Okay.
I'll definitely make sure I share.
And but what is the title of the movie and what's it about?
I
can't say that either.
No, I can give a hint if hashtag TCL. That's but it's definitely, it's fun, it's family, it's about family, it's love, and it's a great movie to bring in the holiday.
Right, and especially for right now with all the stuff that's been going on in the world and just in general. I find we've talked to a lot of artists during this quarantainment. That's how we started this whole series, in fact. And I just love the fact that, if you are truly an artistic person, no matter what, that art is going to get out there. You've got a new song on coming. Well, I guess it's available now. Yeah. And the video, I love the video because it's like a lyric video. Mm-hmm. And which honestly kind of makes sense to me anyway, because half the time you see all these big productions for years, all these videos, you don't know what in the heck they're talking about. because you're paying more attention to sometimes, the production. So I really, I'm like, oh, I'm liking this. This is like really cool. How'd you come? Tell me about the song, and you wrote this as well.
Yeah, I have to give a huge shout out to Raehann Bryce-Davis. He's the one that produced it. He's a great producer out of Philly, as well as typewriter and Brittany Barber. They helped co-write, but ultimately, I just felt like it was necessary to share a song about love. Pretty much that's what it's about. It's called Don't Tell Me No. And it's basically just giving you permission to be vulnerable, giving yourself permission to, not allow your ego to lead the way when it comes to romance and relationships. And it's kind of a declaration, like, don't tell me no. Let's do this together. Let's be in love together. Like, let's take a chance. And I just think that's necessary, with everything that's happening in the world.
Are you in a relationship right now? Have you been, quarantined by yourself, or are you in a relationship where you have somebody, companion there with you, or how's that working out?
It's very interesting. I'm dating, but I've been in quarantine by myself. I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah, we all.
Right, during this time. But yeah, I mean, one thing that I definitely learned was that I know that I'm responsible for my happiness and mental health. I can't, rely on anything or outside source or person to take care of Brave. And this quarantine really taught me that, even at something as small as just making sure I continuously still buy, you know, fresh flowers, even though no one's coming over, or, you know, lighting candles, even though I'm the only one that's gonna smell it. Those things matter to me, and it helped with the peace and sanity. And I found my footing. You know, it took a couple weeks to get used to, but I'm blessed that now it's like a steady working, you know, time. You know,
Yeah.
to be able to book a movie during quarantine was amazing, and still put out music and finish a project.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The artist, true artist, always come through. You know, it's really funny what you said, because I agree with you. I have been out. I mean, I grew up in a house filled with fresh flowers all the time. It's kind of a funny story. It's because my mother worked for a funeral home. So
So you always have fresh flowers.
we always, I mean, the house was filled with fresh flowers all of the time. So I grew up and I kind of did the same thing. And living here in LA, you know, we've got one of the biggest flower marts in the world.
Right.
So you can just go down there, and you go down there with the thought of, okay, I'm going to get a couple of things, and you come back with enough to open up your own flower shop, and then you got to really prep them and do all of that. So yeah, I'm into that as well. But it was funny because at first during quarantine, I was like, oh, what about the fresh flowers? You know, and it's not about anybody coming over. It's just about, like you said, about you enjoying it. So I'm still doing the same thing, girl. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, we can't let
Absolutely.
ourselves go. We still have to find those tidbits that of normalcy that, you know,
Mhm.
genuinely make us happy. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of making everybody happy, you have been very open with your heart and working with young girls, and doing charitable things. Tell me a little bit about that as well, because
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
important now.
I have a fitness business. I do a lot of training, physical training. I have clients and trainers under me. And it's one of the most rewarding things that honestly I can say that I'll train forever, God willing, because I just love the transformation of confidence, and seeing women go from point A to point B and just watching them blossom. But even with children, I'm an ambassador for Steve and Marjorie Harvey's Girls Who Rule the World.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I come in and 200 plus girls, and we, you know, we work out, we talk about health and fitness, we talk about mental health. We basically embrace them and pour into them, and let them know that they're not out here alone, despite how you might feel during certain times. So I always encourage people, you don't have to be a celebrity, you don't have to be in entertainment to mentor a boy or a girl. You just have to start, because they need it. That there's so many children out here that just the littlest thing, tidbit of love or encouragement, you never know how much, you know, it can change their life and their trajectory of where they go.
Exactly. So are you doing the fitness workout now via Zoom? Like I know a lot of trainers are. I had a trainer before all this started. I was doing so good too. Doggone it.
Weren't we all?
Oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself. And so, but we were doing it at the Y because I was a member of the Hollywood Y for forever. And so now that we can't really do that, we've been trying to figure. We have not gotten back together. This has now been 6 months. So we're trying to figure out, can we do this? I know they do yoga classes and all that on Zoom. Honestly, that wasn't really working for me, but how are you doing this? And is it effective?
Yeah, so both. I've actually gone back to being with some of my clients, train outside, and virtually. So I was doing IG lives every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock consistently. And then I had an injury to my shoulder, so I had to kind of take a break. But I'll be picking that back up come October. But yeah, it's just about, you know, trying to, I guess, just get comfortable with the new normal and doing things virtual. It is different. I'm a people person. So I love to be able to see you and be able to just have that one-on-one interaction. But for right now, I mean, I'm still getting results. My clients are still listening to me, even though I'm screaming at them through a screen. So I'm like, whatever gets the job done, just don't give up. Let's just keep going.
I know, because it looks like we're going to be in this for a while. Just would like to get your, we've lost so many people this year, obviously, way too many to COVID. But, I'm thinking right now about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and what she meant to women,
Yeah.
and the void that she is now left behind, that
Yeah.
the person who's going to fill it obviously is probably not going to have the same set of values. What would you suggest to women and young women right now about, if you're old enough to get out to vote, vote, but that as well as just trying to mentally and physically take care of yourself, as well as being politically active, because this is the era where anybody that's got any amount of sense needs to be politically active in some kind of way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that it's so important for us to embrace our power. Sometimes we forget how much power we have, whether it's on our platforms, whether it's using our voices, whether it's just in conversation with friends, family, via phone, Zoom, whatever it is. We have so much power that we can change the trajectory of things if we just ignite that power. I think that we absolutely, everyone needs to get out and vote. That should be I don't even use the word no brainer. That should just, like, you go to sleep and you use the bathroom, you vote. Because
Exactly.
we hold the power. So it's so important for us to exercise that. And I like to be hopeful. I like to stay hopeful and optimistic. We do have a lot of the control, but I also have to remember that we are not the final say so. He is. So I do know that despite whatever happens, whatever the turnout might be, I like to consistently remind myself that it's still going to be okay. It may not be what I would like or what I would hope for, but I know I rest on the faith that we're going to be okay. We are strong. And as long as we utilize that power, we can still, we can still shift things to a degree, but none of that can happen if we don't exercise that right to vote.
That is so true. You know, you have the right name, Brave. Where did that name come from? Is that a
I'm,
state?
yeah, well, I've had it for a very long time. I was a spoken word artist. That's how I started out in entertainment, was writing and rapping. But a lot of times I was writing about things that I probably shouldn't have been politically talking about at such a young age. And just going out and performing those pieces, it was kind of a crowd given name. And then it just stuck.
Wow. Well, it fits you perfectly. Love the music. Where can people find you?
Yes, everything is Be More Brave. My Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Like you said, I just released the lyric video to Don't Tell Me No. Don't Tell Me No is on every streaming platform, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. And the lyric video is up on Vivo. I actually have another song as well that's currently out called Options, and that has a music video to it, which is super cute. I'm acting, playing 3 different characters. So I would love for everyone to check that out. But yes, hit me on Instagram, Be More Brave, BMOREBRAVE.
Brave Williams, thank you so much. You got a big future coming up. Forget about the COVID. You're still going, and you'll be even better when this is over. Come back again. Well, you know, I'd love to, when the movie's out, can we get you back again?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, there's another film that's out right now on Netflix that people can go check out. It's my first leading film called Love.com. That's currently out right now. So yeah, if you ever want to Netflix and chill.
Excellent. I love it. You take care. You stay safe there in Baltimore.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Too.
Thank you. Thanks
Bye.
everybody for tuning in. Tanya Hart here, Hollywood Live. We've got a lot more of these coming up. You don't want to miss them. I won't even, it's just, there's so much material out there, and I know there's so many things you can do during the day, but this is something that you always learn something new, and we hope that you feel good about it too. Feel good about yourself as well. Take care, everybody. Ms. Raehann Bryce-Davis is hailed by the New York Times as a striking mezzo soprano. She's won several international awards for opera, but now, with the worldwide pandemic COVID-19, she has found a new way to entertain her audience, and it's breathtaking. Welcome, Raehann Bryce-Davis. Hey everybody, Tanya Hart here. Welcome to Hollywood Live. You know what? We have got something really special for you today. She's sitting right there looking like the African queen. I love it. You know, Raehann Bryce-Davis, okay, I got that right, is a worldwide celebrated mezzo soprano. She has won all of these awards. She's just sort of starting out her career and has been killing it. And then, of course, COVID came in but she is still bringing it with the best of them. How are you? Welcome to Hollywood Live.
I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, you have the most incredible voice. And I know people say this about many opera singers, but there's opera singers and then there are those with the really special. Being a mezzo soprano too is very difficult. Tell me really what that is and what that means. People hear it, but they don't really know what that means.
Absolutely. So, mezzo soprano, we're a classification of opera singers. And mezzo means middle. So we're really smack in the middle. They're the sopranos doing their and then there are contraltos with their and we're the mezzos right in the middle. So we pop up and sing high notes sometimes, and then we pop down and we sing our low notes, but we live in the middle.
Yeah, I love it. That's not a bad place to be. We have had in our history some great opera singers from the African diaspora. We unfortunately just lost Jessie Norman. What was it, this past year? Oh my goodness! How did that affect you? What did you know her? Had you ever met her?
I hadn't gotten to meet her in person. When I was in grad school at Manhattan School of Music, she did a master class, and I tried as hard as I could to get near her, but I didn't quite get near enough to meet her. But some of my earliest memories are my mom playing the spiritual CD that she had with Kathleen Battle at recorded at Carnegie Hall, and just showing us what the greatest instruments alive, trained to the highest level and singing music from our community, what that can become. And so that was a huge inspiration of what it could be like to be an opera singer and not lose contact with your community and with your history and your heritage.
Wow. Well, you know what, Raehann, that's exactly what you have done. I mean, here we are. You were in the middle of touring around the world. I think you had just opened here in Los Angeles as well, with the opera here, and now everybody is shut down. But not to stop going. I love what you came up with. You came up with one of the arias that you have been performing, and you've done this video, and it is amazing. And it is a video to help uplift all of us. Tell us about it, and then we're going to take just a peek look.
Absolutely. So, as you were saying, we were singing Roberto Devereux, which is an aria by Donizetti, written hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And in the aria, my character is far away from the one that she loves. And so she's singing this aria that's called All'afflitto è dolce il pianto, which means to the afflicted, weeping is sweet. It's the only thing that is a joy, the only joy that she has in her life, and yet she is kept from that joy even. And so as I was sitting in my room, having had my last performance canceled, I was sitting in that place that there was no joy. My performance, my outlet, my creativity, my artistry had been taken from me. And so I was desperate to find a way to create. And one day I was sitting there and thinking about that aria, and I realized, these words can speak to what I'm feeling right now. Right now I am the afflicted.
Right. All of a sudden we're all the afflicted, huh?
Come on, right? And then in the middle of that, there was the murder of George Floyd, and we heard about Ahmaud Arbery, that he had already been murdered, and we were waiting all this time for justice. And so, like all of us, I was just sitting there and filled with this rage and passion, and just wanted to find an outlet for that. And this music video came out of that.
Wow. Let's take a quick peek. Okay, and then somehow we'll insert this by the magic of Nicole and digital artistry. Somehow we'll make this happen. Okay. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. It brings chills to me. you know? When you put this together with like no budget, I mean, how did that even and you've got something going now to help other artists who are out of work. So let's talk about all of that.
Right. So I just wanted to create, but I'm not a videographer. I can't record myself. And so I reached out where I was at home close to Dallas, and I found an amazing Black director named John Goff. And I was like, this is what I'm feeling. This is the story that I'm trying to tell. I cannot pay you what you are worth. But fortunately, he believed in the concept, and he also is an artist, and he wanted to create something beautiful that he believed in. I think most of his work is with commercial entities, and so he has to kind of just do what he's told. And so this was also an opportunity for him as a Black artist to create something meaningful. So he signed on. A wonderful pianist signed on, and she was like, don't even pay me, we're gonna make something beautiful. And I was like, you're ridiculous and amazing. The place where we recorded was this castle on top of a like 22-acre hill, and I have a tendency to dream big. So I found it on Airbnb, and I wrote to them, and I was like, so I know that your lovely home is rented on Airbnb for $1,300 per night. Is there any way that you can just let us record there between guests? Is there any way you can make a girl's dream come true? I said. And the response back was, wish granted.
Oh,
which was just
see?
amazing.
And I hope that they liked the product when have they seen it, the Airbnb people?
They have. That was their one requirement, that I send it to them when I'm done, and they did. They loved it. In fact, they've given their home before to artists, and they showed me the video of rappers like 2 Chainz and all kinds of things, and the music videos that were recorded in that space, they're quite different in flavor.
Yeah, I would say 2 Chainz is a little bit different than the aria from The Afflicted. Just saying.
A little bit. I was missing my booty shakers in this one.
Okay, and moving right along there. So Raehann, tell me about the foundation and the other work that you're doing now to help other artists, because I mean, I don't have to tell you, we all know that everybody's out of work, really, in the entertainment business that is accustomed to being out there doing concerts and all of that kind of stuff. So without that income, and certainly nobody's getting too much help from the U.S. government. So what do you do, and how are you helping other people?
So during this, one of the beautiful things that has come out of this is that there's been a community of Black singers that have been formed, and we're all trying to do what we can to better each other's lives. We're doing an initiative right now to try to provide video recordings for young artists who need to create auditions in this time of COVID. And of course, if one has money, you can go out and go to the fanciest studio in town and record a state-of-the-art audition package. And if you don't have money, you're going to be using your iPad. So we're trying to create something that no matter what means you have, you can create something beautiful and continue to work towards becoming a professional opera singer. So that's one of the great things that we're doing. We're also doing right now, there's a petition for racial equity in opera. And we're going to have a huge panel next week with professionals in the opera industry, trying to address all of these inequities that exist. I'm sure you don't know very many Black opera singers, and so
I don't, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, you think about that, and of course, there are inequities. It's kind of like, being Misty Copeland and being the ballerina. So because there aren't that many people. So in your instance, what are some of the problems that you've seen over the years, and probably way before you?
Right. I mean, one of the things, just one, which might hit close to home for a lot of your viewers. I jumped in once to do a performance in Germany, and I sat down in my makeup chair. It was very last minute. Their mezzo had gotten sick, so I just flew in, had a few hours. They found a costume that fit me, and then they put me down in the wig and makeup chair like an hour before the performance was going to start. And so the artist came, and she came to me with her palette of foundation colors, and she was like, all different shades of beige, you know? And so this is one of the biggest inequities, is that we have very few Black wig and makeup artists, and the ones that are there, very rarely are they trained to deal with our complexion and our hair. And we now, before a performance, when we need to be focusing on our craft, are trying to educate people of how to prepare our hair and how to do this and that. And, you know, all we want to do is sing.
Yeah, which is what you're very good at doing.
Right.
And people, have you had those instances, and I would hope that perhaps, you know, we've come far enough, at least in the opera world, where you are not necessarily ostracized by the rest of the cast or things like that. I mean, there's always going to be individuals and individual conflicts, but just generally overall, are Black folks kind of accepted in that world now?
I mean, I think we have left the days that it would be frequent for somebody to like yell an expletive at you.
Right.
You go to some very rural parts of town, you feel very much so that some people are on the verge of it, but very rarely do you hear it. I have colleagues that have heard it, many who work in Germany, and you know, people don't necessarily know all of the history of the word, or perhaps they do and they're using it on purpose, you know, also possible. But most of the things that we're dealing with are implicit bias. One of the things that you have to watch out for as a young singer is doing a performance of Porgy and Bess. That's an all Black show created by a white man, and very often they have a white conductor, white director, telling all of this Black cast how to behave and what it is to be Black. That's a strange experience, but when you perform a performance of Porgy and Bess and you go for your next audition and they look at your resume, it becomes, you have to now convince them that you are worthy of being there, that you didn't just get, you're not just a Porgy and Bess singer, which they kind of look down upon, and they love to program it because every time they do, it sells out.
Oh, it sells out. See, that's the other thing, because we know that Black entertainment has carried the culture in the world. Of course, it sells out because that's what people know they want to hear, and it is American, you know.
Correct. So they love it, but they still look down on you for doing it. And so I have a lot of colleagues that even if they do a tour and work at very fancy houses, they won't even put it on their resume because they still want you to cast them for Italian rep, because we are trained as opera singers. We can sing in Italian, German, French, Russian, Czech, Spanish.
Right.
We can do it, but
Right.
sometimes you have to convince them that we can do it.
Wow. Tell me a little bit about your training, because this was not your idea for your life's goal, and all of a sudden here you are. You planned a whole different life.
Well, I started college as a business major. I had very big intentions of making lots of money. And I started taking voice lessons when I was about 19. And my teacher was like, this is something special you have. You cannot just waste this and do this for funsies. And she took a while to wear on me, but eventually I was like, you know, as I continued to find what it was and how it used all parts of my being, you know, it takes your intelligence, it takes your creativity, it takes your passion, it takes your history, your acting, it takes all parts of you, your math, It takes all of you to
Yeah.
become
Oh.
an opera singer.
Mhm.
And so when I realized that, I realized it was something that I had been born to do and something that I needed desperately in my life. And
Yes.
so, you know, I left my tiny little town in Keene, population 5,000, and headed off to the big city, to New York, and then on to Europe. And thank God it's become
It's
a thing.
no, it is a thing, honey. You've worked it out. And here's the good news. You're just starting. We've
Yeah.
got another generation coming behind you that will still be listening to you. And I think it's very important. You know, we hear, you know, rap music is that was jazz, but R&B, now it's kind of rap has become America's music that's spread around the world. But I'm thinking it's very important for our kids, even rap artists, to know and to listen to opera. How do we get them to do that? Because I'm sure it would change some of their lives and their opinions just about the music that they do.
Right. I mean, I think you just have to try it. You just have to try. I'm doing everything I can to take it out of the mysterious opera house, and that's one of the benefits of COVID, is that so much of it now is online. I would just encourage people to try it, and even if you try it one time and you hate it, you should try it again somewhere else, because just like, excuse my dog.
Is that your dog? Oh,
Dog. Cora, come here.
what kind of
So
dog
just
is it?
like in movies, you know, if you watch a drama and you hate it, maybe that's not your type of movie. Maybe you like comedies. Maybe you like action-packed things. And it's the same with opera. They're all different types. And there's contemporary opera that's telling stories like about the Central Park Five that just won a Pulitzer Prize by Anthony Davis. Actually, in a few weeks, I'm doing a premiere of his We Call the Roll, which is dedicated to George Floyd in Minneapolis.
Wow.
You know, there's so many contemporary stories and essential stories that are being told through opera for our community. And we just have to know that they are there and find them. You can go and listen to La Boheme and hear beautiful tunes, or you can go and be intellectually challenged and emotionally moved. And I just encourage everybody to try it, to go find your genre of opera and try it.
I love it. See, because I think a lot of people didn't realize there were genres, different genres of opera, you know, just like any other music, where you have different genres of them. So good for you. Now, you know, I got to ask you, because when we started out, I said, oh, don't you look like an African queen today? I said, girl, I just went and got this at the protest. Tell me about your head wrap. And were you out protesting this morning, or what's up?
Well, I try to go whenever I can. No, but I was actually going to the March on Washington a couple weeks ago, and I love very much to support Black businesses. And so I went to Harlem, and I spent about 4 hours just going around and finding amazing head wraps and jewelry, and met so many wonderful Black artists and creatives. And it's always an amazing time to be in Harlem. But my rap got some action in DC, and the marches of the whose streets are streets, whose streets, you know.
Yeah, man. It's like I'm so excited, because I really feel we have turned a corner. I don't know which street we're going to go on after we turn this corner, but we've turned the corner.
Yeah.
And we're not going back. I mean, you know, all of the young people that I speak to about this, and I speak to a lot of them, they're not turning back. And the fact that it's multicultural. So, you know, we're going to be all right. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be better when we come out of it. And anybody who doesn't want to get on the program, they don't have to, because they are now left behind. And it's already left behind. I mean, you know, it takes about 5 years for people to catch up to what's really happening today. They're gone. They're just gone. So good. That's all I can say. So now, what's coming up next for you?
Well, next I'm heading over to Belgium to do an opera called Tristan and Isolde, which many of you know from literature.
I was going to say, yeah, I remember that one.
Right. So we're doing production of that. It's my role debut as a lead in Wagner, who was known for writing very big music. And so it's a very big debut for me. So I'm very excited about that. But that's
Raehann, that's wonderful. When are you going? And
December. I'm heading out the first week of December, Lord willing, if all COVID behaves and travel regulations. And things. Yeah.
You're going to be all right. I'm thinking by December, at least you should be able to travel, hopefully safely. I was just talking to a friend this morning who had just come back from, we're all from out of Boston. And so she said, I took the chance and went home. But, they seem to, everybody is trying to follow the protocol. So I think you'll be fine because you have to protect that voice, girl. You just do.
I'm trying.
I want to thank you for doing that video. Where can people see the video other than what we're going to put up here on our website? Where can they see this?
Well, if you just Google my name, Raehann Bryce-Davis, I have Instagram, RaeBD, RaeRaebD. You can always see lots of action on Instagram, what I'm lately up to.
Right.
Or my website is raehann.com, YouTube, Raehann Bryce-Davis.
Okay.
If you find the name, you'll find me. And the video is called To the Afflicted.
To the Afflicted. And you can actually get the lyrics and you can kind of learn to sing along, which is what I'm going to try that. That's my assignment to myself this weekend.
Fantastic.
Now, I know you've got to go. We're going to let you go, but what would you say to the audience out there about just opening up their hearts to other people? Because what you did was so special. And I mean, I know that you've had really good things come to you as a result of that, because that's kind of the way that works. Mm-hmm. What would you say to other people out there who have a gift, or maybe they don't have the gift that you have, but they still could give? What would you say about that?
I mean, I think it is human to give. And if we live our lives only for ourselves, and if we take the talent that we have and we keep it, we never get to live fully. If you learn, you become vulnerable and stand on a stage, you learn so much about yourself as a person. You learn dedication. You learn that it takes hard work. You learn that the most special thing that you can do is have a connection with a person. Mm-hmm. And I would just say it's our responsibility to leave the world better than we came in. And I think a beautiful way to do that is to make someone uplifted through art. So I encourage you to learn about yourself, to give, and to create in this time of so much uncertainty. It's a way to give beauty to everyone.
Well, thank you so much. You are totally beautiful inside out, and the voice is phenomenal. I look forward to listening to you for many, many years to come, Raehann Bryce-Davis. Congratulations, darling.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today on Hollywood Live. That's it for today. We got a bunch of other stuff coming up. Don't ever miss this show, because see what you would miss, See you next time, everybody.